All right, last video, the power video. Also gonna be a really short video, but real quick, I'm not gonna get into this case. I'll tell you what's in it. This is our 220 power cable case. This actually has, so I'll go ahead and show you this too. I got this from the same guy that I bought almost all those cables from, actually, and the distros that are in there. This is a 3-phase Pagoda power box, Lex box, distro box. I'm actually going to change this. I think I may not, but originally I was going to change this into a 50 amp 220 distro box, which I could easily do. I just need to change the cable and obviously a different connector to the 50 amp L1450 plug. But the reason I say I may not now, heck, I might even sell this actually, because I don't know that I really ever need it. But that's because I have these guys. I picked these guys up really cheap from gearsupply.com. I'll go ahead and give them a shout out because they have a lot of good stuff and really good pricing. I got these two. These are two 50 amp power distros. One of them has 6 20 amp 110 circuits on it. The other one has what I modified to. Actually, I will say that because the other one had 110 circuits as well, but there was a locking 30 amp. It was like a couple of locking 30 amps, a couple locking 20 amps, and then a 515 outlet, which is like your standard at-home outlet plug. I have modified this one quite a bit, so I wanted to be able to. I wanted to have a 50 amp distro that would still distribute 220. So what I did was I have one circuit that is a 30 amp 220, and one circuit that is a 20 amp 220, and then one 20 amp 110 circuit, 110 20 amp circuit. But the reason I did that is because we have in this box where all the cables are, we have a couple or three like 50 foot and under L1450 cables, the 50 amp twist lock cables. We also have a whole ton of 75 foot and under. Actually, I think I even have 100 foot actually, L1430 cables, twist lock cables. And then we also have quite a few was it? I think it's actually L1420 cables as well. The 220 volt, the 220 volt, 20 amp twist lock cables. Anyways, so but we also have a couple of drop boxes, of which I kind of want to get some more of if I can find them. I can't even find them anymore. But the drop boxes. They're little square boxes that have a duplex outlet on each side. And that is, one is a 20 amp circuit and the other one's a different 20 amp circuit, so it splits the 220 20 amp cable, outlet, I guess. the 220 volt 20 amp power into two 20 amp 110 power legs, or circuits. Wow, that's a lot to say. Anyways, so that's why I wanted to do that. So I have basically 3 circuits, like I said, a 30 amp, 20 amp, both 220, and then a 20 amp 110 circuit. So I changed the outlets to actually be two 1430 outlets, the 30 amp twist locks that are on the 130 amp circuit, and the two, again, I think L1420s, if I remember right, the 220 20 amp twist lock outlets. Man, that's a lot of numbers to say in one thing. Then they're both on the 120 amp circuit, and then one 520 outlet, 110 on a 110 circuits. This is our, what I consider, for lack of a better terminology, our heavy duty 20 amp cables, which actually are mostly comprised of 15 amp cables. The reason I say that is because they're the 515 plugs instead of 20. But these are all of our really long 12 gauge cables. So I've got a handful of L520 cables, which is the twist lock 20 amp cables. So I've got a handful of those. Otherwise, these are 50 50, 75, and 100 foot 12 gauge cables. And I also have the 100 foot 10 gauge cable in here as well. But they are 15 amp outlets, but they're, I use them for 20 amp circuits all the time because they're 12 gauge, so they're rated for 20 amp as far as gauge goes. But won't get into all that. Like the audio box, I will show you what's in this guy. This is our 110 volt power cable box. So here we've got all our C13 cables of various lengths and gauges. We have our these are the extension cables of various lengths and gauges that have 3-way outlets on them. Here we have our 8 to 10 foot, actually I'll say 8 to 12 foot extension cables. Here we have 25s, here we have 50s. Thankfully have gotten to mostly black cables, and that's the other thing is like, and here is mostly not black cables, but who cares? So yeah, so we got 50s in here of various gauges, mostly, I would say mostly 20, or excuse me, mostly 12 and 14 gauge. And this is all our power strips and surge protectors here, which I'm not going to get into a lot of because, well, you know what a power strip looks like. It looks like this. So this one, the reason I made this box to begin with, is I have it's a quad box with 4 20 amp outlets, and you can see it's 20 amp because of the little side notch. So 20 amp plugs, this neutral plug is actually sideways as opposed to up and down like a 15 amp plug, which obviously this box will take either. But I made this directly to be able to run, like I mentioned earlier, I can plug a 20 amp device and use technically 20 amp gauge extension cables that still have the 15 amp plug on it. So these are available for rent, and they do have the disclaimer on it that you have to use, if you're going to use these for 20 amp devices with 20 amp plugs, you have to use 12 gauge, or I don't know if I should say higher or lower gauge cables, because like when it comes to wire gauge, the lower the number, the thicker the cable is. I don't know who came up with that plan, but sure. So anyways, that's what that is. The other variation that I have, that I used, actually the first two that I made like this, I actually changed. I they are still 20 amp outlets, but they are 20 amp GFCI outlets. And I put a 6 gauge, a 6/4 cable lead on them with the 50 amp twist lock, as I call them, California style. I want to say it's like a CS 2303 or 2304 or something like that, plug on it. So I use it as a quick and dirty 50 amp distro. So it just like I can take two 20 amp circuits from a 50 amp outlet. So, and that's in the 220 box, of course. So, but anyways, other than that, so there's 2 of those in here. Everything else is power strips, little 3-way pigtails like this. One thing I will note in here, and the last thing I'll note, are these guys. So long story short, I gotten one of these for my personal use, because I go out of town all the time on installs, and hotel outlets can be really iffy, and if not jank, and really loose, and otherwise not enough of them. I found this on Amazon and got it, and I have a little, what I call a travel bag. It's got all my charger cables and one of these in it, for when I travel. It's got 2 outlets on it, so I can still plug in like my laptop or maybe a CPAP machine or something if I get one. But anyways, it's got a couple outlets on it. It also has 4 USB outlets on it, and this is the newer model that has 3 USB-A and a USB-C. Mine actually has 4 USB-A on it, but that way I can plug in my phone, my tablet, wireless earbud case, you know, whatever I need to charge overnight, I just plug this into one outlet, and then it doesn't even have to move. So even if it's a loose outlet in a hotel wall or one of those stupid lamps, I just plug this in here, and then I don't have to touch it again, and I can plug whatever I need to into this. So I have been using one of these for years actually at this point, and I decided to get I actually had started buying these two to put in at host stands. We've been putting in Sonos systems in these restaurants lately, so we will provide like an Android tablet they can keep at the host stand but still walk around with if they want to change the inputs and volumes in the different rooms or zones. And we've been putting these at the host stand because they also like to charge. They have their own tablets or iPads for open table, for instance, you know, when making seating reservations or managing their tables. So I've been getting these because they're cheap, put them at the host stand, and they absolutely love it actually, and they'll even plug in their phone sometimes to charge it because sure, it's right there, why not? But I got the idea to get this actually because these are quick and dirty. For one, I will always put one nowadays. I will always put one of these at front of house, because how many times, front of house engineers, how many times has somebody come up to you and be like, hey, do you have something I can plug my phone into? It's almost dead. Now you do. And without, you know, messing up any of your computers or equipment or anything. It's right there. Sure, why not? It's also great for your own phone and tablet and whatnot, so you can plug into. I did also get these for to power the document cameras that I mentioned in the video, because even if you use the HDMI outputs on them, you still have to power them via USB. So that I got those for that reason as well. They have actually come in real handy. They're also really good for like panel rooms, stuff like that you can just set up on the table, and they can plug their laptop into it, they can charge their phone to it, whatever. And they're great, they're cheap, I recommend them. And I'll drop a link in the description where you can get them on Amazon. And then up here on top of the video shelf, this is kind of like doubling as the video / power shelf. There's not much power related that goes up here. I've got the my little 110 volt power distro is what I call them. Basically all it is, and I'll show a picture of it here. It's a Furman power conditioner, M8-x2s actually, the Furman power conditioner, and then a front facing power strip. This has actually been super easy for, you know, just deploying some power conditioned power distro to where you can just easily plug in powered speaker system, microphones, everything you need into a powered, a very easily accessible power conditioned distribution unit, I guess you could call it. So that's all those is those two units. So that's what's up there. But yeah, so with that being said, I think that's kind of the end of the video series of equipment nerding. I don't know what I'm going to call this video series, but there you go. I want to reiterate one more time. If any of you viewers have a subject that you would like for me to do a video on, whether it's a question about something, a problem you might have that you're looking for a solution, recommendations, equipment reviews, anything like that, you know, I want to make videos. I want to make videos again. This is something I want to do, but I need ideas, and I wanted to make videos for things that y'all want to watch. Drop a comment of whatever you want me to make a video of, and I will probably do it. So that being said, that is it for this video, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.